All right, guys, we are here for another episode, and we are going to talk about how to get these tasks done as quickly as possible. Nevo is sending me dozens of memes, and I'm ignoring them. All right, I'm turning in my first quest. The way to get this
First,
Asgardian
tell them not
wine
for free.
is in
Just now, tonight,
the yellow zones. What did you say?
Patreon.
Patreon. Yeah, we're gonna revamp the Patreon. It's gonna be great. Okay, so the wine is the easiest thing to get. You get it from yellow zones, and so far this is pretty easy. Let's go to the next one. Killed any 10 Draugrs. So far you can tell, very easy. Easy quests to do. I wish I had a ranged weapon right now, but I really like this sword and shield. This sword and shield is unbelievably powerful. I just can't even, I don't even understand what the devs were quite thinking when they made it, because being able to block 48 damage is like, it's just crazy damage. And I do crazy damage. I mean, I could kill a mage with this damage pretty easy.
So is it safe to say that you can now main a tank and do a lot of DPS damage now?
Yes, definitely. I mean, now you don't get the bonuses that you get if you're... But here's what's crazy. I feel like a duelist could use this shield, and even though you don't get the triple blocking, you know, you still get 12 block, which is essentially, I mean, that's at least comparable to what a protector gets with a normal shield. And that is what makes the protector so tanky. So I think this shield is going to make... I think some people are going to go Thrasher and Duelist with it. And they're going to do crazy damage. But they're also going to be pretty tanky because of all the blocking. Alright, we're going to turn this one in. And lame. Okay. Well, I can't do any more quests, but for the season tasks. So I think what I'm going to show you guys now is we're going to talk about combining these things. They're expensive though. Here, let's craft one of these to see. Does it really just craft one bandage? It does. It crafts one bandage. And so in order to really do this, you need to get a lot of Asgardian wine. And then if you're going to like have a stack of bandages. But I mean, if you look at this, it's the difference between 40 health and 60 health. So if you go get 20 Asgardian wine, and then, man, my kids are so loud. Hold on. Okay, so King of China, you haven't been playing Frostborn in a while, but you probably are familiar enough to comment on this. Basically, I think this is pretty cool. They added a workbench that is part of the season where you can buff your items. Bandage does 50% more healing. Bolas reduce the player's attack.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Like 10% attack rate is reduced. But at the end of the season, it's going to just get reduced down to normal. Like you're going to switch back to normal stuff.
The bench completely then.
No, you don't have to complete. Yeah, it's already completed. You don't have to complete it.
Oh, okay.
It's just
That's
part
a shame.
of the.
I feel like they
it's
should
just-
keep that. 'Cause it kind of changes things a little bit. It gives it a bit more depth and stuff into combat, like being able to mix items and, give them extra skills on them.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about that. I was a little worried, changing the game, but I guess they could tweak it. I don't really like the grind of it if it's going to be permanent. I think they should just change this. But I wonder if they're actually testing out these new items to see are any of these things they want to put in the game permanently, which I think is really cool.
It's a lot of different items and weapons. And imagine if you could put literally anything into this forge and it would create something. That would bring just the ability to discover something new, which is fun in itself. Going, oh, what would happen if I put this firebomb in? And it'd be even better if you put a firebomb in and it did change. Maybe it could change it to 3 different things. And these 3 different things could be split into rare, purple, which is like epic, so it happens sometimes. A firebomb could make it last longer and do more damage. And then the legendary thing that it can transform into, it does stupid damage and it also slows the enemy, but it rarely changes to that. And that could be really, really cool, because then that means every item could have 3 variations, and you can have something really cool and magical about, basic items, basically.
I'm intrigued.
So
my fear with that would be that they bog down the game with too much stuff, make it too big of a download, or
Oh yeah, the information, yeah, because then they would have to put a lot yeah.
But
True.
it is intriguing.
So I don't know if you heard of a game called Power Stone by any chance. It's a very, very old game.
No, I haven't. I don't think I have heard of it.
Some of your viewers might know Power Stone. It's a very, very old beat 'em up game. But what made Power Stone special was you could get any literal item, you put it in, you mix it, and then it transformed into something else. And it was a very big deal. Well, I know I'm showing my age now. I'm 34, but literally that's what it was cool about, is you could get any weapon and just transform it. And if Frostborn went that way with it, I feel like that would bring a lot of audience, because some people just like making stuff and not knowing what's going to be made.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing concept. I'm totally down for it. I like diversity. It's hard to balance games that have too much. I mean, I like it, but it is hard to balance a game with diversity. And Frostborn already has a lot that they're working with. Okay, I'm going to try one of these hammers. We're just going to try a purple hammer. That's crazy. We're going to make one of these purification potions. Make an elixir of protector. I don't understand why they made the bola so expensive. I mean, one bola, one blue bola cost one of each type of resource that you have to go gather. That blows my mind that they would do that. It's so expensive.
Maybe they have certain plans for the future for it, and that's why they've got to make it so expensive.
Maybe, yeah. All right, we're gonna try this purple hammer and this blue bola. We're gonna go ahead and apply this legendary elixir of protection. Oh, I know how to check it. I just need to heal and see if the healing works. Because it should be plus 25%, not 20%. So this is the OBT, so some things might not be quite perfect yet. But it goes to what you were saying.
I was just about to say that, because OBTs, they don't always put all the stuff in. They only go for the stuff that they're focusing upon.
Yeah,
and I did do OBTs.
It does go into a little bit of what your what we were talking about just then, about like when they try to add more diversity and stuff.
But you are right saying that the more versatility they do, the more hard it's going to balance, and balancing is always an issue, always have been.
Oh, I just blocked 39 damage with this shield. Oh my gosh, I love this shield so much. 39 block. That is such an insane block. All right. So I am... What am I trying to do? Try to get my health low. Oh, that's right. So I'm going to heal. And it should be... Yeah, every once in a while it's healing 13, which means that that's 25. Okay, I'm healed up. I got 408 health. I really wish I could run into a player, but I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to get a bunch of these mobs together, and we're going to see how big of a range this hammer has. Here we go. Okay, did you see that? It was a smaller range than I was expecting, but it was still pretty cool. It definitely stunned the people around it, but it was a small range. You got to go rewind the video if you want to see it up close. And then we've got this, which you can see, and that affected its attack speed just a little bit, not a whole lot though, but I mean it's 10%, right? And then the last one, we've got what are we doing? So we want to see, this thing's gonna give us 40 armor for 23 seconds. So use our damage resistance. Honestly, 40 armor is, I mean, it's significant. It went from 25, I'm taking 26% damage to now I'm only taking 20% damage. So that's like a reduction of like 20%. But, and yeah, it lasted a long time. There we go. So, I guess the last...
Was that with the hammer then, sorry, you get the reduction damage, or you still was using the shield?
No, the armor potion. I switched to armor potion.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
purple armor potion. And then I have a legendary dispel potion, which I think I'm going to actually use if I run into PvP, because being able to... I mean, I don't need to show you guys what that does, right? Because basically, it's a dispel potion that heals you 40 health. And in my case, it's going to heal me 50 health because I've got this plus 25% healing. Which is pretty amazing, because when you're struggling... or when you're dispelling, especially if you're dispelling to like come at someone and, you know, and fight it out with them, it's pretty amazing to have that extra health. That's going to throw people off. Honestly, that's going to really throw people off. Getting an instant 50 health, in my case, because of my potion or my elixir, that's going to really mess some people up. So people are going to think that they've got to win. And then someone's going to dispel, but it's going to not just be a normal dispel. It's going to give them an extra 50 health. And people will not be expecting that. And I think that's going to turn some battles. So they're expensive. I mean, obviously, but I would say the best deal is actually the dispel, as far as like what you're getting out of the rewards. Let me check them just to make sure. I mean, the armor potion could be good. Some people will use armor potions when they're fighting like high damage mage or something. I would say the enchanted hammer, in my opinion, I mean, I guess you can just go get all these things, right? So it's not that big of a deal, but it's a pretty low range and it's a very small stun. I would say the enchanted hammer, if you're doing lots of team PvP, especially if it's at like giants, then maybe it's worth it. But other than that, it's not worth it to go get all those resources. The runes of power, no big deal. We got 100 of them, right? And so maybe it's fine. But it's really only useful for team PvP, right? You don't want to if you're doing solo and there's a bunch of mobs chasing someone, you don't want to stun those mobs. There's really no benefit, unless really at the end of the day, I would say the hammer's not good. I would say that the bola is not really worth it unless you are an ice mage and you are specifically trying to get, or a bandit. If you're trying to get bonuses with immobilization and that's like your big thing, then sure, yeah, it's worth it. I mean, it's if you're gonna use a bola anyways, and you're for PvP, then reducing their attack speed by 10% is incredible. The bandages are expensive, but I would say that they're actually one of the more worth it things. I mean, 50% more healing. Everyone uses bandages. This is worth it. You know, you're going to have to farm a lot of yellow zones to get all of that drink, but man, that's 50% more healing is incredible. Dexterity, I mean, it's not that expensive if you have those berries lying around. It'd be kind of fun. I bet you someone could set a record. Like some of these records, like speed runs we've done, this is a pretty cool addition to be able to have that much extra speed. The Guardian Potion, I would say if you're gonna, again, all of these, except maybe the hammer, or except the hammer. I don't think the hammer's worth it unless you are in lots of team PvP. But all the rest of these, if you use them, then they're worth it. Everyone uses bandages, so that's why I'm saying it's the one that's worth it the most. These are not as used as often. I would say that the dexterity, we have a speed potion. I would not say it's worth it most of the time. But then again, if you're wearing all legendary gear, why not, right? You're only going to use that speed potion if you're trying to get away from people or trying to chase someone, and this is going to give you almost 3 times the distance. So again, it's worth it if you're active in PvP and you already use these things. Fury Potion is definitely worth it. This is actually pretty cheap, considering all you need is the oil and the berry and the mushroom. I would definitely get it. If you didn't just watch my other video, the difference between this one is that normally a Berserk Potion, you do 20% more damage, but you receive 15% more damage. Now you're doing that 20%, you're only receiving 5% more. That's a game changer. If you're trading blows with someone, it's definitely worth us upgrading to Fury Potions. Yeah, for sure. Dispel Potion I already mentioned, and I'll mention again, the Purification Potion is amazing. Being able to have that 40 health, it's going to be clutch. It's additional health above bandages. It's just worth it. The Elixir of Protector, I would say it is worth it if you are going to use survival potions, which a lot of people do, and so it's definitely worth it in that regard. But if you're saying, hey, I usually use the Mage Elixir, I usually use the Warrior Elixir, should I switch? I would say that the numbers aren't so drastic that unless you were already kind of teetering, I wouldn't say it's worth it to switch over. Like if you're like, no, I use the Warrior Potion because I need that movement speed, I need that extra damage, I'm going to be like, just keep doing that. Don't worry about switch over to this one. This isn't going to break the bank, or this isn't going to break the meta so much by getting that extra 5% healing. It does couple well with the healing of this and the healing of this. So if you're already upgrading these and you're like, you know what, having that extra healing because I'm already getting more healing than normal is worth it, well then yes, then it's worth it. So that's all I can say about these and whether or not they're worth it. It is significant. 25% extra healing, 7 points of armor all the time for an hour will help. And usually those things help in more zones than the other potions help. So like you can use them against the Fire Guardian. So that's also meaningful. So And it's really cheap. I mean, getting one of these and then varnishes, we got tons of varnishes. So, yeah, I would say it's worth it if you can have a place for it. But again, if your whole strategy is having that extra movement speed from the warrior potion, you're going to really be throwing off your strategy by giving up your movement speed to switch over to this, even though it's really good. So that's it, guys. That is everything about this new enchanted table. Obviously, you also need to factor in that you can turn these things in. Like I can turn this in for all 60 points, which I'm not going to do. And honestly, if we're looking at just what is worth it the most, if you've got lots of Loki's runes and you're not going to use them, like if you don't do a lot of raiding, then this is pretty easy. I know Dispel Potions are valuable, and I know Loki's runes are valuable, but some of you get these things and you're not a big PvPer, you could do this and immediately get all 60 points for the day. Other than that, I would say this is probably the easiest one to farm. You're going to have to do 3 a day. So you're going to have to get into the PvP zone, get these berries, go to the yellow zone and get this wine. And then, turn your speed. Everyone's got tons of speed potions left over. So this is probably the best thing for someone who's active in PvP. And then this is someone who's not that active in raiding or PvP. This is going to be your best option. So for getting those points and completing this, which does give lots of silver, elven resources, and 10 gold coins, and a Thor's flask. So it's a pretty good quest line. So that's it, guys. That is showing you how the quests work, and then showing you this quest line here with all of the different things you can craft. In the next video, I'll probably go into the best way to fulfill Glork, who it says right now you can do all 1250 in the first day. I don't think that's going to be how it is. My guess is that it'll probably be 60 a day, which if you're doing 60 a day, then I think Odin's is still going to be our best bet. Usually Odin's is the best way to farm those things, but that's going to be another video. I'm going to get all those calculations for you. So tune in on that next one. Hope this video was helpful. All right, guys. See you next time.